Yesterday, President Trump pulled off some of his best trolling of his life, really. And the best trolling is when you shove the truth in people's face. And it makes them so uncomfortable because they can't escape it. And that's exactly what happened when the president of South Africa was in the Oval Office, thinking that he was going to talk about trade deals and getting some aid for his country. And as you can see by the look on his face, things didn't go as expected. You probably heard last week President Trump granted refugee status to a few dozen families from South Africa, white farmers who had to flee because of the very dangerous systemic anti-whiteism, which is causing mass red rumming of the white people over there because, well, they're the descendants of the colonizers. And ever since apartheid ended, well, the country has fallen apart. This seems like a meme, but this really did happen, and I'll show you some of the media's reaction because obviously they're very upset anytime you point out that white people are being, well, systemically discriminated against and violently persecuted in South Africa. Well, and on the streets of America as well, obviously.
Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land.
He can't even believe it. He's like, wait, oh my God, you're not showing me these clips of Julius Malema, the communist leader, calling for the mass red rumming of white people, are you? Yes, he is.
Permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us?
This is unbelievable. The video goes on for literally almost 4 minutes. And as you can see from his reaction, he is extremely uncomfortable. He doesn't even want to look at the screen and have the world know what it is that's happening in his country under his leadership. Here's just a small sample of the reaction from the Operation Mockingbird media, where it was literally the top story on every show, every hour throughout the afternoon and in the evening.
To the dramatic scene in the Oval Office today, the tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Up next, another Oval Office meltdown, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
That's the key word. Ambush. They all got the memo.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush today.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader.
Well, you get the point. That compilation, by the way, was put together by the great Western Lensman over on Twitter, who does fantastic work. And I'm not kidding. This was literally the lead story on every show, every hour on the Clown News Network, because I watch CNN so that you don't have to. Here's a small sample of that.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight, keeping them honest, with the President of the United
No, you begin tonight spewing more lies like you do every night.
States confronting the president of South Africa, making a string of false accusations about
pointing out uncomfortable facts that the liberal media, the Democrat Party, and anti-white organizations like the ADL don't want the American people to hear.
The president of South Africa may not have realized a lecture was in store for him when he got out of his motorcade and stepped into the West Wing today. But before he even made it into the Oval Office, President Trump had already had aides wheel in 2 large TV screens into the room in anticipation of the arrival that you're seeing right here.
Yes.
An Oval Office ambush. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa thought he was joining President Trump at the White House to reset relations. Instead, he was accused of allowing, quote, genocide of white South African farmers to happen under his watch.
Yes, because that's what happens when you run what's basically a third world country. And people like this are allowed to not only just roam free and make their incendiary statements inciting people, but hold political office in the parliament.
Alliance. Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
President Trump also came to the meeting armed with various news articles from the past few days in order to really drive his point home.
Well, look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death.
White people.
Death. horrible death. Death.
Here's the communist leader openly saying in parliament that they're going to take more of the land of the white farmers. And if they want to be safe, they should just flee the country and come to the United States.
We will expropriate land without compensation.
Without compensation.
Whether they like it or not, if they object, they can seek refuge in America.
And we all remember how upset the liberal media, the Democrats in Congress, and the anti-whites who walk the streets here got upset about that. This from the London Guardian. White South African refugees? The jokes write themselves. They think that it's a joke that no white person anywhere, especially a white minority in an African country surrounded by angry black people, could be possibly persecuted. This from Clown News. Trump fast-tracked processing of white South African refugees, but not everyone wants to leave. Well, guess what? No one's making them go. If they want to stay, they can stay. Here's Don Lemonhead, former CNN host, turned guy in his kitchen on a laptop, who obviously will never compare to yours truly, but he may be the most upset person in the media about it.
African farmer bullshit, which is the most blatantly obvious racist ever. It is blatantly obvious the way that we treat white South Africans.
Trying to save them from the angry communist black mobs who are literally singing songs about red rumming them.
Who, by the way, for the most part, and I am generalizing here, some of the wealthiest people are well-to-do people in the country.
That's why the communists are coming to get them. Then the online activists, the red shirts and foot soldiers for the mainstream media, started doxing the refugees and combing through all of their old tweets, hoping to cancel them, leading to headlines like this. South African brought to U.S. under refugee scheme made anti-Semitic comments. And it turns out that he did criticize some Jewish groups in South Africa. And as you know, you're not allowed to criticize any Jewish group for anything. You're not allowed to disagree with a Jew about the best flavor of ice cream, or else the ADL will call you an anti-Semite. So he did commit that terrible sin, and also did question and doubt that Jews were supposedly God's chosen people because, well, anybody who's read the Bible knows that Christians are God's chosen people. God doesn't favor a specific ethnic group, especially one which overwhelmingly doesn't even believe in him anymore, doesn't follow Judaism, the religion. They just consider themselves to be ethnic Jews, but you're not supposed to say that. But if you dig further into his tweets, he actually is a big supporter of Israel, particularly after the horrifying terrorist attacks over there back a couple years ago, posting things like this. But the president of South Africa proposed a solution to President Trump in order to help save the white people in his country by us giving them more money.
Our main real reason for being here is to foster trade and investment so that we are
giving them money,
able to grow our economy with your support, and so that we are also able to address all these societal problems, because criminality thrives when people are unemployed, when they have no other hope to eke out a living. So that is what we need to resolve.
I'm sorry, sir, but I don't want to give any more of our tax dollars to South Africa or to any other foreign country, period. If you got some extra money, however, and you want to order your I Love White People shirt, then head on over to my online store, markdice.com, or click the link in the description below. All of my designs are now also available in tank tops as well. Just go to the main site and then click the Tanks tab, where you can get your America First tank, the classic Trump fight, a Make Me a Sandwich tank, Operation Mockingbird, or any of my awesome designs. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and now tank tops as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.